So we've got the National Incident Manager of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Dr. Muktar Mohammed, is here to talk through these developments with us. Good evening and welcome to Newsnight.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
So we're glad to have you. Could you just help us understand? The PTF has said there's going to be vaccine, and then we've had a number of other government establishments saying, yes, there will be vaccine. What is the latest with regards vaccine for Nigeria?
So I'll say that regarding the vaccines for COVID-19, all preparations are in top gear. The government has contacted the Vaccine Alliance, and we hope to get some initial vaccines through the COVAX facility, which is meant for middle and low-income countries. As you know, that there is a global scramble for getting these vaccines. The rich countries are trying to get as much as they can. However, these bodies are now trying to ensure that we have some equity in the distribution of the vaccines. It's not that all the countries that have money that will get everything they want, but we want to ensure that there is equity so that middle and income countries are not left out.
Well, I do know that there's a budget that the minister had spoken about to procure these vaccines. Has that budget been, that supplementary budget, has it been submitted? We need that confirmation from you quickly.
Absolutely. So that budget has been submitted to the presidency, and the government is working towards raising the funds to make sure that we get these vaccines. Part of the funds will be used to procure the vaccines, but a lot of the funds will also be used in the logistics arrangement, procurement of the freezers, cold storage, movement of the vaccine, payment for staff that will be involved in the field work, and the rest of that.
But some will argue and say 400 billion naira. Can't we be thinking about local production? I ask this because if you look at India, for instance, they didn't have the expertise or the research to actually create theirs, but they were able to get the specimen from AstraZeneca and Oxford University, and in-house are able to massively produce what they need to inoculate their people. Why are we not looking in that direction here in the country?
So absolutely, it's not that we are not looking at it, but if you look at it, India is far ahead of Nigeria in terms of the manufacturing infrastructure that is on ground. India is known for producing a large number of drugs, including some of the generic drugs that we have used for HIV. If you recall, it was India that came into play that crashed the price of HIV branded drugs in the world. So India has a very solid infrastructure. It is not that Nigeria is not looking in that direction, but we're looking at the amount of resources and the time it is going to take before we reach there. For now, this is an emergency, and we're treating it as such. In emergency, you try to secure what you can and provide the commodity within the fastest available means that you have.
Okay, so two things jump at me just right now, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking the first one is we don't have a budget yet. I know that it is being fast-tracked from what you have said. When do we expect it to be completed so that we can say, yes, we have money to spend on vaccine? Because the expectation is that the vaccine will come by the end of this month.
So the way it works, the vaccine we're expecting by the end of this month or early in February is actually secured through the COVAX facility. And that one we are not going to pay. It is just an agreement. We are going to get those 100,000 doses of the vaccine.
100,000
100,000 doses, yes.
So the additional 10 million will come sometime in March or April?
In March or April. So the other side of the question is now that of NAFDAC said that no vaccine should come into Nigeria without the approval of NAFDAC. Any effort being made to make sure that NAFDAC is carried along?
Oh, absolutely. NAFDAC is 100% on board. They are part of the technical committee that is looking at the issue of procurement and logistics. And they're also setting up their mechanism to ensure that once these vaccines arrive, they do their own due processes, which is to ensure that they do not contain anything that is harmful, and also they take on the toxicity and side effects and the rest, and make sure that it is safe for Nigerians.
Dr. Muktar, we have to talk about this new variant that has just been discovered, 4 cases from what was announced yesterday at the PTF briefing, and the fact that this would likely have an implication, looking at the fact that we're seeing countries ban flights from the UK from coming in. Are we thinking in that direction? And also, looking at your office, I do know that some people who have arrived into the country, even from South Africa and the UK, and some of these other countries that have this mutated variant, some of them have not showed up for their tests. Beyond, you know, suspending their passport for 6 months, what are we looking to do?
We're taking that very, very seriously. If you recall, very early on in the year, or even towards the end of last year, we increased the restriction that we placed on passengers that are arriving from UK and South Africa. Apart from them doing the negative test, we ensure that we follow them up, that they stay in isolation, and that they do the day 7 testing. Passengers from South Africa and the UK can hardly escape doing that because we are following them very closely. And secondly, any of these passengers that test positives, we are taking their blood samples for sequencing. It is the sequencing that will tell us the type of the virus, whether it is actually the conventional one or it is a mutant. Besides mutation, also it's a common thing within the viruses. It's only fear that we have now is the potential that it can actually be more pathogenic or more virulent in people. But that is yet to be established.
Okay, we want to say thank you very much for your contribution, and I guess we will be expecting to have you back on the program.
Absolutely, but precaution for now, because the vaccines are no silver bullets, really. Thank you, Dr. Muktar, for joining us.
Thank you very much, and glad to have me also.
Thank you.